Close your eyes and imagine it. October 1915. The First World War has turned Europe into a slaughterhouse. Millions are dead. Millions more are fighting in mud-soaked trenches. And in the hills of Gallipoli, a unit of British soldiers is marching into history and into legend. They would be remembered forever as the Vanishing Battalion. The March into the Unknown. The men of the 1/5 Norfolk Regiment, mostly farm hands and workers from Sandringham, England, had been sent to the Gallipoli Peninsula to fight the Ottoman Empire. The battle was already a nightmare. The heat was suffocating, the flies relentless, and disease killed almost as many as the bullets did. But on August 12, 1915, under the blazing Turkish sun, the Norfolk men were ordered forward. They advanced into a valley shrouded in a strange, low-lying mist. Witnesses, fellow Allied soldiers watching from the ridges, swore the fog rolled in unnaturally, clinging to the earth in thick, glowing clouds. The Norfolk Battalion marched in, hundreds of men, and then silence. The battalion disappears. Observers waited for them to emerge. Minutes passed. Then hours. No one came back. The mist slowly lifted, and the valley was empty. The battalion had vanished. Over 250 men, gone without a trace. No gunfire, no bodies, no sound of battle. They simply marched into the fog and disappeared. When reinforcements arrived, they combed the valley. Nothing. Not a single rifle, not a single helmet. The Ottomans denied capturing them. The British called it one of the strangest losses in the war. Back in England, families were told their sons had simply disappeared. The king himself, whose estate the Norfolk Regiment had been drawn from, demanded answers. None came. It wasn't until years later, after the war, that partial remains were discovered in a mass grave. But the mystery remained. Why had no one heard the battle? Why were so many men unaccounted for? The most chilling account came decades later, from New Zealand soldiers who swore they had watched the Norfolk men march directly into the mist. In sworn testimony, they described how the fog seemed to rise up and engulf the battalion, and then drifted slowly away, leaving only an empty field. These men went to their graves insisting they had seen an entire unit swallowed by a cloud. Theories and legends. Historians have argued for over a century about what really happened. Some say the men pushed too far into enemy lines and were cut down, their bodies hidden by the terrain. Others believe the Ottomans massacred them and concealed the evidence. But for many, the story became legend, proof of something darker. Was it supernatural, a cursed valley, or something beyond human understanding? Some even claimed it was the first wartime UFO abduction, long before Roswell. The vanishing cloud has become one of the most bizarre mysteries in military history. The haunting legacy. To this day, the Vanishing Battalion of Gallipoli remains unsolved. Tourists visiting the site sometimes report strange feelings of dread, or the sound of marching boots echoing through the hills. Locals tell of ghostly figures seen wandering the fields at dusk, rifles slung on their shoulders, still looking for a battle they never returned from. The Norfolk men who vanished in 1915 are remembered on memorials across England, but their true fate remains a haunting question mark in the history of World War I. War creates heroes, tragedies, and mysteries that defy explanation. Some battles end with victory, others with loss. But the story of the Vanishing Battalion is something different. It's a reminder that history is filled not just with the known, but with the unexplained. That sometimes soldiers march into the fog of war and are never seen again. Subscribe for more eerie stories.